Your number one radio station all across the African continent. We keep it moving. And up next on the power seat, let me welcome Lloyd-Anthony Smith. He's the producer and resident impresario at NIROX Foundation. He's been curating and hosting concerts at NIROX since 2014, following an invitation after producing his own concert series. Since then, he has hosted hundreds of artists, musicians, and poets in the Sculpture Park, creating a platform to showcase the best in South African creativity and the arts. Together with NIROX, he has presented concerts across a wide range of genres, including jazz, folk, blues, classical, opera, soul, roots, any kind of music. He's done it, man. His focus is on great experience with an emphasis on quality production, exceptional food offerings, and comfortable concert amenities. And he's right here tonight. Let me welcome the one and only Lloyd-Anthony Smith. How you doing?
Tich Mataz, thanks for having me on this show.
Fantastic, man. You good?
Hundreds, thanks. How you doing?
So you're the plug, man. You're the man to go to.
Yeah, kind of come to me with some of the ideas, or I go to them with the ideas, but then get things done on the ground. So it's a nice position to be in.
Yeah. Now, great having you on the show. NIROX is a breath of fresh air when it comes to hosting events. What inspired this theme this time around, Spring Jazz 2026? How did that come about?
So the jazz concert's been running at NIROX for about 12 years now, annually, and we're always looking to expand and change different thematics. And I think this time, the High Filters weathered a particularly spicy winter. So to get to the other side, just to welcome in the onset of spring, the invitation to just connect through breath and how that conceptually relates to music is where we got to with that idea.
Love it. The event is set in the ancient heart of the cradle of humankind. How does the landscape and sculpture park influence your programming and the type of music you want to put on?
So the Sculpture Park, being just outside of Johannesburg in Pretoria, it's in the countryside and in the UNESCO World Heritage Site that is the cradle of humankind, literally all of our collective origin stories, and being a 30-hectare sculpture garden that exists to foster the arts in all its forms, for musical performances and showcases. It is just a big, open, beautiful canvas that, I think just accentuates the different kinds of music that we're able to host in the space. So it's just a really beautiful, kind of ethereal nature setting, which is really conducive to creativity.
Yeah. Hey, you were right. The winter was terribly cold. Happy springtime is here. So spring jazz speaks to music, nature, and companionship. What makes NIROX such a unique venue for jazz compared to traditional concerts and other venues?
Well, I guess this can be a little bit subjective. I've watched jazz in various settings, and it has its place, I guess, in the conference centers or convention halls, and I just feel that bringing it out into the natural landscape and being sort of in with the open skies and the soft breezes that cruise by, and NIROX has a lawned amphitheater for guests, and the stage is also just a little grass platform with a stream running in front of it. For me, it just accentuates that connection between nature and art that I think is just the sweet spot for that kind of a program.
Lloyd, I'm quite interested in this year's lineup. You've chosen instrumentation as well as human voices. Who's going to be rocking the Jazz Festival this year?
So we've got 4 different ensembles, and I'm really excited about all 4. And they're in, occupy kind of very different spaces. We've got Ungiri Ensemble, led by the brilliant trumpeter Ndabo Zulu, and it's kind of guess you could call it a kind of a supergroup collection of jazz musicians who, all have their own bands and ensembles, and the Ongidi ensembles only perform live together on a handful of occasions. So we're very excited to welcome them to our stage. We're very fortunate to have the amazing Mfundo Plaluva coming in from Cape Town with her band. We've got Abatwe Buli Trio, led by Mtunzi Mvube, and then a very new project, the Spirit Whisper, with Shane Cooper, Vuyo Viwe, Khonsi Makene, and Sisonke Konti. So beautiful array of emerging, established, kind of rare artists that we're getting to host next week Sunday.
How long is each set, and what can your highly anticipative audience plan to experience this year?
So basically, we run daytime events in the park. It's just we find it more conducive to kind of getting the most out of a day. So our gates open 10 o'clock in the morning, and the first band will be on at 11. And there'll be, sets are an hour long. There'll be nice breaks in between for guests to either explore the sculpture park or some of the artist studios, the current exhibition that's on, or just sample some of the different food traders and the extensive bar offering that we've got. And it's just a full stretched out day of music, food, art, and nature, concluding about sunset. So once the sun drops there in the cradle of humankind, that'll effectively drop the curtain on the production.
Yeah. I know Mfundo is going to be part of the lineup. She's got such a strong vocal presence. What made you decide to invite her to be part of this jazz experience?
I mean, I've known about her and heard her, recorded music, and I was actually fortunate enough to see a performance of hers live at the Cape Town International Jazz Festival a couple of years ago, and I was just, it nearly took my head off how good it was. It was just, in terms of stage presence and delivery and the kind of songs and the sort of emotiveness of it, I've been wanting to work with her for ever since then. So to be able to have her on this year's lineup is a real win, and something that's I know myself and many of the other NIROX guests are looking very, very forward to. It's going to be great to be welcoming her to the Highveld.
Nice one. And don't touch your camera. We'll be right back. This right here is Channel Africa, and we'll be right back in just a moment. My guest tonight is Lloyd. Welcome back to the show. Spring Jazz 2026 is a partnership between yourselves and Standard Bank Private. Tell me about the partnership and what can you expect from this incredible relationship? What are the possibilities?
It really is an incredible relationship. The Standard Bank have this amazing history of supporting the arts in South Africa, for decades now, and even especially through the Young Artist Award program. Many of those artists, not just in the music space, but also in the performance arts and visual arts, poetry, have also been incorporated into many of the NIROX programs and artist residencies, and to have them as a partner within the context of our concert series and for Spring Jazz just allows us to really elevate our kind of desires to create something really of significance. It's the reason we were able to bring in somebody like Mfundo Plaluva and her band from Cape Town. And what's really nice about it is that it's not such a linear partnership as it is quite dynamic. They bring a lot of other elements in that are very interactive, so it kind of just elevates the whole guest experience, from the artists to the activations to the way in which ideas and ticketing and things like that are communicated. It's just sort of changed the dimensions and really allowed us to level up a little bit. So very grateful to have them on board, and I think it's something that kind of gets felt by all patrons that end up attending the Spring Jazz at NIROX.
Yeah. So I'm told that if you are part of Standard Bank Private and you're a client, you can get some discounts. Tell me more.
Yes, so there are certain credit cards that apply that can be applied and on our ticketing portal, and those cards will then receive an automatic discount as subsidized by Standard Bank Private, which again just another added bonus and benefit of being a part of the group, and it's something that was we tested earlier in the year, and it's been received really well, and it's just, I guess, opened up these channels into the arts and into this music space that's, again, just, widening the net in a very collaborative way. So, yeah, it's a very, very lovely additional program and option to have for guests of the concerts.
Part of the theme says live healthier with Standard Bank Private. And how does the event plug into living healthier?
So, Tish, I believe it's live wealthier, but I guess that's also, in terms of live wealthier as a concept, it's not necessarily just on the financial side, it's also
Yeah.
the cultural element. So, I think for guests that come and get to experience this day with us, who trust us with their first Sunday in September, the exposure to the arts and to music and to nature, it's just so culturally rich that I think it's part of the with the live wealthier idea. It really does fit quite neatly along those lines, and especially with spring, especially with the thematic of breathe, it's meant to be a rejuvenating experience and a rejuvenating concert, and that's what we always strive for with these productions, is that when people attend them and by the time they leave, that it has been a kind of a gentle adventure, if you will, where people get to kind of pick and choose how they want to spend the day. We've given them all the different options and ingredients, and some people decide to sit under a tree for the day, some take off their socks and shoes for the day, put out their picnic blankets. Some will have, 2 or 3 meals, or maybe an extra dessert, or if you want to go to the good smoke and have a stogie, or just sit and soak up the music the entire day. I think by the end of it, it's a wealth of experience, and I think that's what we strive for, and it just aligns very neatly with that particular idea.
Lloyd, as we wrap up, the event is open at 10 in the morning, right? What kind of food and
That's
beverage can we expect?
So we've got an amazing collection of food traders that we call the Epicurean Emporium, and they're invited marketeers and restaurateurs from Johannesburg and Pretoria. So we've got everything from Che, the Argentinian grill, Canpai and the Prawnery, who are at Keys Art Mile. There's Tuto Paella, Boy Pelo's Kitchen, Fumo restaurants. It's a very varied culinary set of options, for lunches, for desserts, for coffees. And then Bernie's Bar is our stalwart on the hydration side of things. So they've got everything from cocktails and bubbles to soft drinks, and a wide array of neatly procured and very chilled beverages to keep guests hydrated throughout.
Hey, Lloyd-Anthony Smith, thank you for joining us. We can't wait to see you at the weekend.
Lovely. Thank you, Tich. Appreciate it.
All right. This is African Diaries.